Greetings, programs, and welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where I'm actually fast-tracking this video a little bit because we needed a palette cleanser after that duo of failure yesterday. So, today I'm actually going to take a look at Transformers Armada Demolishor, as well as his MiniCon Blackout. So, really quick, we're actually going to look at the MiniCon first, because he is, a MiniCon. Technically this guy has like 4 modes, but they basically all just consist of have him normal, flip out the radar dish, have him normal, flip out the radar dish. Yes, according to the directions I've seen, every time you flip out the radar dish on this guy, it's a new mode. But, as you can see, he's just a simple little guy. He sort of has proper legs, which will come into effect a little later here, when we partner him up with Demolishor. But other than that, just a little hinge, and then ball joint for the arms, full rotation. They can move out by using that section right there, not the ball joint itself. The ball joint really does just serve as rotation, unfortunately. And then, you've got a very, very short thigh section, and then his shin is the rest of his leg. And, you can have the guns flat on the side. You can get them part way on top, though the satellite dish is in the way of putting them all the way up. Though I do see a lot of people, they'll either just straight up remove the satellite, or just, if I can get a hold of it here, flip it all the way back so they can get these on top. So, just a simple, weird little missile, vehicle, but pretty cool. And probably one of the most integrated MiniCons, actually. So, we'll actually go ahead and get the main man himself here, Demolishor. And, as you can see, he is some bizarre sci-fi missile launcher tank thing. I genuinely have no idea if there is some kind of real-world counterpart to this, though I somehow doubt it. But, as you can see, really, really nice, bit of paint detail and wash going on. Even for his time, he was probably one of the prettier robots. And this guy also has like a billion modes and little things he does with his partner. So the first thing is you'll notice this weird little spot right there in the front of the tank. You can actually take Blackout's head, pop it in there, and he's not actually locking in at all. Just that piece is locking back. But you can, more or less combine them together. As well as, after you've got him in there, there's this little tiny button hiding on the back of Demolishor. Go ahead and hit that, and it will launch Blackout. Which is, that's pretty cool in and of itself. Obviously, he's a MiniCon, and that is actually how you activate the missiles on Demolishor here. So you go ahead, plug Blackout into his arm. Let me move this piece back just so it's easier for me to get hold. But once you plug him in, this piece actually extends out, which is how the missiles are armed. And then you pull back on Blackout, or whatever other MiniCon you're using, and it fires the missiles. So, honestly, kind of cool. Now, the missiles do only fire on this side This other side is just storage. There is no lock here or anything. They are purely just storing in there. But still, really cool. See, that way. So, for their... some of the ways that they work together, Demolishor actually has a chair on the back here that you can rotate out. So, when you've got the chair rotated out, you can take Black out, get him sitting, bring up his arms, and you can actually have him more or less pilot Demolishor, which is really neat, actually, in my opinion. I do really like this, actually. So, you can use him like this, or Demolishor does actually have a pseudo extra mode where he becomes a artillery embankment. There's a lot of quotes with this guy, so I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with that. But literally all you do for that, come down here, flip out the treads, and I've seen it done like that. I've also seen an extra step where you bring these pieces down, which we're going to have to do for robot mode anyway, so I'm just going to do it now. And rotate this all the way around and do it like that. Then, you know, use these to prop it up at an angle. There's a lot of different ways you can use this guy. He basically has infinite modes, actually, because of how he transforms, which is really cool. But to move on from this, as you saw, these side pieces are on double hinges, so they can shift down. And then when they're facing the normal way, there are little pegs on the inside that do actually peg in right beside the chair. But go ahead, bring this back down. We're going to just go ahead and get him into his robot mode here. So go ahead, fold this part down. Make sure this is out completely straight. Fold this down. Then fold out the foot. Same thing over here. Straight. Fold these together. Foot. Then you're just going to go ahead, grab this section right here, rip it in half, fold up his head. And technically, you're done. This is his, attack mode, because everything had an attack mode. Basically, it's just keeping the guns, the firing missiles at a usable range. Technically, you're probably supposed to fold the chair back up, which does mean he always just kind of has a shelf butt going on, but that's fine. So, this is something that was in the show, where he would, just have these main guns out in replacement of his hands. Or, if you do want him to have actual hands, point the gun up, then rotate these around to become his actual hands. And there you have his proper robot mode. And really quick, I love this head sculpt. That is one of the most personality-filled head sculpts I have seen. I wish it was light-piped, I'm not going to lie, but it's still really good. No articulation, except for, he can look up as his head sinks down into him. If you want, you can even just do that, and, you have a Battletech mode. I'm 99% sure I have piloted this while playing MechWarrior. And I've definitely piloted that in MechWarrior. So, yeah, a lot of really good stuff with this guy. Now, funny enough, I'm not sure if I have his legs right here. Right now, he's in kind of chicken walker mode. But I have also seen the legs like this. Get the chair out of the way. Spun around so he's got normal knees. I don't honestly know which is the way you're supposed to do it. I've not been able to find decent enough scans of the official directions, but I've found a lot of what at least seem to be official product shots, and they do it both ways. So either it's the classic guy at Hasbro taking the pictures did a bad job, or there's just multiple, acceptable right ways. Which is why I kind of say this guy has, like, infinite modes. So, really quick, just so you can see, here's how he looks standing next to his MiniCon partner. And I've got to say, I love these guys. There were 3 different versions of this set. This is the original, but there was also a set where he was sort of a burgundy and navy and a little bit of a creamy white. That was the Power Links mode, I believe. And I've heard a couple different things of what that mode was supposed to look like in terms of its colors. I've heard it was Ironhide. I've heard it was 6-gun / 6-shot. I've heard a lot of things. I don't know, but it's kind of a cool looking color scheme. There's also a green and purple one where he looks like he's just part of the Constructicons. And mind you, these are just the versions they released during Armada. Then, actually in Energon, they ended up changing the character entirely. He became just a dump truck. Way less cool, to be honest. But, while not in the show, in Transformers Cybertron, he came back in toy form looking like this. Now, this is actually the reason that I wasn't going to make this video yet. I have been trying to find missiles for this guy. They are exactly the same as these, just black. And yes, if I want to, I can just use these ones. Nothing changed in terms of missiles and things like that. But what did change is, while he still has the section to use his MiniCon, as you can see holding my hand here, he didn't come with a MiniCon, he came with a planet key. That has a MiniCon, port molded into it. So you actually plug, here, let me actually lock that down in. But you actually plug the planet key into his arm. And on mine, this is a little sticky, but you actually plug in the planet key and use that to fire the missiles. And while it's cool using the MiniCon, I'm not going to lie, it definitely works better when you use this, just because you have a better handhold on it, and it's not trying to transform under you. So, go ahead, get this out of the way. I love the colors of this version. Just so stinking much. Same, fold-out chair in the back and everything. Exact same transformation. So, just give me a second, I'll throw him in robot mode. As you can see, looks just as awesome in robot mode in this color scheme, if not arguably a little more so. Here's a comparison side by side so you can see. There's actually a little bit more detail in how they painted the face versus the original. Mine also appears to either have a scuff on his nose, or no, I guess that's actually just a weird reflection. On camera, it looks like he has a silver nose. No, that is just a shiny nose. forgot to give him some powder before he got in front of the lights. But yeah, great, wonderful figure. Any of the versions, I'm just going to say that now. Actually cover his articulation now. Already mentioned the head, but arms can rotate all the way. There is no in and out movement, unfortunately, but he does have a sort of a double elbow, so ultimately it only goes a tiny bit past 90, but you do have a little bit of, options on how you deal with his arms, which is pretty cool. I realize I'm holding this at a weird angle. I'm not gonna lie, this is a figure that I like enough, and I wanted so much when I was a kid, that I am a kid again holding this guy. He's awesome. He does have rotation either up here, more just, shoulder based, or you can rotate down lower using the shelf butt section, or you can have him wag, I guess, if you want. That's a thing that's possible. Legs can kick forward really well, can kick back, no real outward movement. He does have a knee, which, again, depending on which way you transform him, it either goes back / forward that far. And then you can untransform the foot to get a bit of an ankle tilt. Limited for, what modern deluxe figures can do. But compared to what deluxe class figures were in this time, very, very impressive, actually. Here you can really see there's a reason that I was trying to get his missiles before I did this, but so far that has just not been a thing. He does look a little weird without his missiles. Definitely get this guy complete if you can. But one way or another, if you collect Transformers in any capacity, you need to get a version of this guy. He is definitely one of the better figures ever released. And yeah, the inner, 11, 12-year-old, in me who finally has this guy after all these years, I cannot tell you how stoked I am to actually have this guy on my shelf now. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.